Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. PDP heads for another crisis over congresses. Lagos declares Ibeju-Lekki County Anchor 173 other estates illegal. Tinubu splashes $100,000. I said it yesterday. Flats OON on the Victoria's National Ladies Basketball Team, the Tigress. Ladoja named 44th Olubadan. Designate. INEC, early 2027 campaign violates electoral law. 38% of SSCE candidates make 5 credit, including maths and English. Women's rights group decry should arrest attacks on police women. And African leaders shift focus to healthcare. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay. So the head of Nigeria office of the West African Examination Council, WAEC, and this body handles our West African Senior School Certificate Examination, which is the WASEM. And this year's result, according to this HNO, Dr. Amos Dagut, says that there's been a 33% decrease in performance. He said the comparison of the percentage of candidates in this category of the WASI exam for schools from 2024 shows a decline of 33.8% in performance. Last year, the body said about 38.32% of candidates who took the exam made credits in 5 subjects, including English language and maths, but they have a very, very poor performance in the general exams compared to last year. Emphasis on various area subjects, maths, English, and areas of strength. Just basically, these figures shows that, a distraction. Well, we made it a hot topic when the last year's result came out and there was a decrease. And then we started to blame the parents, the phones, the distractions, and now we're here again this year.
Decrease. What I have here is Sowolu boosts Justice Ministry with buses. So the governor of Lagos State has presented 7 new buses to the Ministry of Justice. The buses were presented through the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, and this is in fulfillment of the governor's support for the judicial, discharge of judicial matters and strengthening the justice delivery. And the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Lawal Pedro, expressed his appreciation to the governor for the support he has been giving the justice system. And according to how it said, 2 of the buses have been designated to convey offenders to court and back to their various facilities. And other ones, they said, will help. 2 other buses will be dedicated towards the Special Task Force on Human Trafficking. Well, it's actually a good one that the governor sees the lapses in different ministries and steps in to support. So that's what.
Okay, so I have the stories of, they said Lagos declares Ibeju-Lekki County Anchor and 173 other estates illegal. They got this shocking news yesterday from the state government. They said the projects which they have invested their fortunes are illegal. And they said that they also gave developers of these estates that 3 weeks to perfect their documents. Failing in providing this document would make them to seal off all their properties. They said the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development gave them a 21-day window to process and lay out approvals or risk having their properties sealed. But then the Real Estate Developers Association, they came out to they criticized the action. They said the government acted in bad faith and that the government is demarketing the business involved by labeling them as unauthorized developments and issuing a threat to shutting them down in 21 days if they fail to comply. And they said this action can cause a run on the companies and also send shock to the market. This is not good for business at all. So they went ahead to list out all the estates. There are so many estates involved, and they are saying that if they don't, do the due process.
So government did not say that they are fraudsters. Yes. Government said that they have not perfected, meaning that they did not have their paperwork done. Most of them, when they start their estate, is as they go, they get developmental fees, and then they go and get their building approval, their structuring approvals, and then finally applying for their CFO. Some will even tell you general CFO, and the CFO is what they are not even applied for it. They just have so they usually just do a survey and start to sell. And so government is just simply listing them. You people should come. Government have not said government have not marked anybody's estate for demolition. They're saying if you do not conform with your paperwork, finish. That's what perfection means.
Okay, so responding to Sahara Reporter's article, that seem to be alleging that Inspector General of Police promoted certain persons in the police force. Women's advocacy group, Her Rights Watch, has condemned what it described as a calculated, misogynistic and false campaign by Sahara reporters Omoyele Shore to demonize women in Nigeria police force, especially those serving with the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. According to the article, they sought to scandalize ACP Bukola Kuti and DSP David Victoria, a shameless sexist smear built on malicious gossip rather than credible journalism. The convener, Onyezi, in a strongly worded statement, expressed dismay at the choice Showore to turn what is essentially an institutional issue of police promotions, which is often overwhelmingly skewed towards the male folk, into personal attack on a few women who have actually distinguished themselves in service just because he seeks to impress certain paymasters. So pretty much he was trying to suggest that certain women were being promoted by the IGP because of their closeness to him and consistently over a period, and making some suggestions. Yeah, some slight suggestions. And she was trying to say that it's unfair for a woman who's been promoted to be described in that such manner. Moving on now to Punch. Ghana Baraje McCarthy in tight race for PDP chair. Tinubu gives the Tigress $100,000 cash and flats, and also the OON honor. Fact to recover 101 billion naira from customs after audit report. $160 million fraud. Vietnamese police arrest 2 Nigerians and 5 accomplices. Olubadan, Ladoja awaits Makinde's nod after council nomination. Arrest crisis, protesting ex-soldier pressure for FG with Friday deadline. Afrexim Bank leads $4 billion refinancing loan for Dangote refinery. And states versus discos, power cuts begin over tariff impasse. Which story are we taking?
Okay, so I have the $160 million fraud by the Vietnamese government. They said the police in Vietnam have accused a group that includes 2 Nigerian nationals and 5 additional suspects from other countries. They specifically said 2 Nigerians. The other countries, they didn't mention them, of fraud worth roughly 160 million through the creation of over 300 fictitious businesses. They said that they alleged that the scheme was carried out with assistance from the Vietnamese-led network, and they said the financial channels used by the accused were predominantly linked to Nigerian-based bank accounts. And they said that they were at there was a meeting that they had, and it was a contract kind of meeting. That was where the Nigerians obtained those people's email addresses. And what they did was that they now changed some characters in their email address and now started sending them, messages telling them that they are doing businesses with them and that they should pay the money into certain accounts. And that was how they were able to fraud them and everything. But at least they have been caught and they are still investigating the matter.
Okay. So what I have here is fair pricing for electricity needed urgently. So, there has been talk on different states handling their power supplies. And Enugu State, there has been some sort of experiment. And they said the new approach and intervention by the Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission to reduce tariff for consumers has spotlighted systemic challenges, and this has presented a case for what they said. Enugu State, they now pay like 106 naira per kilowatt per hour, unlike the federal that they pay 208. So they are saying even this money that people pay, they don't even get service for the power they pay for. And you notice that even the federal government was owing a huge amount of money and finally opted for 10 billion naira solar panel for Aso Rock. So people are saying there's something that can be done in the federal stage because it's actually working in Enugu State. So that's what's here.
The story I have, I already mentioned it, the Tigress, congratulations to them. Mr. President gave them also $100,000 and the honor of OON and also 2, I think it's 3-bedroom flats at the Renewed Hope estate. Congratulations to them. Obviously, he also gave the technical crew $50,000 each. And I mentioned it yesterday, I was telling him. But there's one more team that the president is here to give. There's a group called Your View
Ladies.
TVC. We've been doing this thing 12 years, about one all-female breakfast show on Nigerian television. I think it's international.
And it's consistent winner.
Yes, it's an international award, please. So we are, is a
3-bedroom flat is okay, but
moving on to Daily Sun. Wike hits Atiku and David Mark. Again, retired soldiers protest in Abuja over non-payment of entitlements. APC brands El Rufai real threats to Nigeria's progress. Olubadan, Advisory Council nominates Ladoja as the next Olubadan. Oyetola vows sweeping reforms to end both mishaps as committee submits report. And Nigeria inches closer to 2 million barrels per day oil production target. Okay, which story?
Yes, so according to the executive chairman, the chief executive of the Nigeria
NPC.
No, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, who was at the 2025 Nigeria Annual International Conference and Exhibition, he announced that we have already exceeded 1.8 million barrels per day, and that our target was 2 million barrels per day, so we are good, and this is a major win. He announced this at the event, and of course...
It's your first time hearing this kind of thing. You don't hit 2 million before now.
How does it trickle?
It's not.
I don't know.
No. But you know, our inability to achieve our target of 2 million barrels per day also translates to a poor economy, because we don't get enough of the forex when we sell crude. We also but the problem is that we also sell some crude for naira, and if it's about the forex alone.
And some are stolen.
But we are proud of this, and it's because of
I'm
security.
happy. I'm happy, but I just need some real good news right now. Any other
So
stories,
what I have here, retired soldiers protest over non-payment of entitlement. You know how...
Police just did their own. Was it not last week?
Was I not saying to Abuja that listen to your story, Wewe? She's just reading my story. This one.
You don't cast.
Go on,
Okay, so some retired soldiers of the Nigerian Army who voluntarily disengaged in the third and fourth quarters of 2023 yesterday staged a peaceful protest in front of the Federal Ministry of Finance headquarters in Abuja. And their demand is immediate payment of their outstanding entitlements. These ex-servicemen, some of whom were dressed in military camouflage, were demanding the immediate payment of outstanding shortfalls in their gratuity, security debarment allowance, and parking allowance. As it is said, July 1st, 2024 was when most of them stopped. Until now, they are yet to get this entitlement. You know, it's become pertinent now, because when you see Falcons being rewarded with a huge sum of money, the Tigress being rewarded, and then you're asking yourself, the people who are really protecting Nigeria, how do we compensate them? Because the way they live their lives, their welfare is below poor. If there's any word worse than poor, it's below it. And it's something we should look at, because we're talking about insecurity. This is what we should be fighting. It's the root of it.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Who's next? Okay, moving on to Vanguard. Okay, I talked about the Tigers again. Entitlements, ex-soldiers shut down Finance Ministry. We just mentioned that. US to international students will revoke your visa if you skip classes and leave program. APC, ADC bicker over attacks on Atiku, El Rufai, Obi, and Amechi. Ojulari resumes work amid resignation rumor. PDP crisis temporarily over, Wike declares. And flash floods ground Lagos and business paralyzed. High interest rate, insecurity responsible for low economic growth. Okay, which story taking Vanguard?
Okay, so I have the story of the U.S. warning international students, saying that they said the United States has issued a stern warning to international students, including Nigerians, over the consequences of violating student visa regulations. They said this on X. They said that students who drop out, skip classes, or leave their academic programs without notifying their school risk having their visas revoked. They said the U.S. mission therefore advised all student visa holders to strictly follow the rules tied to their visas and ensure they remain in good academic standing. I really like this law, because I know of a lot of people who get to the U.S. They will send their school fees and everything, and then they drop out of school and they're doing other things.
They're hustling.
And, you know, land of opportunities, according to them. They start working. The main purpose of them going there to school, they stop. The school is
the face.
It's the miss now.
But
Survivor is
now,
right.
they will bring them come back. They're
No,
going to
they shouldn't.
revoke their-
They
So
shouldn't.
please let me take my darling minister's story. Minister Wike yesterday.
My uncle.
Your uncle.
But I'm not girl you be now.
Now your uncle. He had a media chat. We were there. TVC was also there.
Okay.
And yes, he declared that the crisis rocking the PDP, that the People Democratic Party, is temporarily over, following the exit of those called buccaneers and vampires. Noting that his firm resistance against these people and the impunity led to the shedding of PDP's excess baggage. The minister, however, insisted that the outcome of the recent South-South Zonal Congress of the party, which produced Chief Dan Obe as the national vice president, must be accepted in order to stave off other round of crisis. According to him, PDP's 2023 presidential candidate is so obsessed, referring to Atiku, obsessed with serially getting the presidential ticket of any party he belongs to, saying he left the PDP because he knew he was not going to get the ticket. Note that Atiku is doing everything to secure ticket at the ADC. Wike said that anytime the former vice president is unable to secure a presidential ticket, he jumps to another party, detailing his history as a serial defection person. But either way,
Vanguard also did a report on the floods that happened in Lagos, and they reminded us that NIMET had issued a warning of light rains that would, most likely
light rain.
A light rain, not light rains that is continuously raining across the Abia, Imo, in the southwestern states, southern states generally. Imo and Lagos was one of the states, and so they said even though this had been done and reported by their paper, the rain started over the night before Monday, continued intermittently on Monday, and they witnessed heavy floods on the island and mainland.
Mr. Akin, our floor manager, and Mr. Coyote, our cameraman, said somebody held the rain for a whole month and now came.
And
They are watching.
released it now.
They are saying with their full chest. And I said, really say, yes, okay.
Opada Jule and now
They are
we are flooded now.
They
So
call it
so they just took how this flood affected the Yalaro area, Ikorodu, a lot of areas. The pictures are not looking good, but just as I said in my banter, do your part. Loma, please pick up all the waste. Please, in my house now. 3 weeks of waste, they've not picked
That's
it up.
terrible.
Okay, so court jails Edo physically challenged drug trafficker.
Okay.
6 orders, 93 years. So the Federal High Court sitting in Benin City, Edo State, has sentenced a physically challenged woman, Rita Iden, 6 other individuals to cumulatively 93 years in prison for various drug-related offenses. As it is, they said about 7 counts. So we can't talk so much on it because it's still there. So they're saying the NDLEA will not excuse anyone because of their physical challenges. You can't say because you're physically challenged, you can be lawless. So we are going to jail you and 6 other people for 93 years. I wonder how they're going to... Yes.
For how many years?
93. They are going to split it. There are 7 of them in total, so they're going to split it.
Okay.
Our final paper, the Nigerian Tribune, let's find a story of not taking. Armed men in motorbikes kill 11, kidnap 70 in Zamfara. How do you kidnap 70 people? Lagos residents cry out as flood sacks communities. Women's rights group decries attack on female police. Plot against Ojulari to undermine NNPCL reform, says CCDI. Ekiti 2026, Oyebanji at APC Secretariat formally declares intention to run for 2nd term. And the channel back with windfall into food security, human capital development. Experts tell federal government and states. Okay, which story?
That same story we talked about, armed men on
Yes.
motorbikes kill 11, kidnap 70 in northwest Nigeria. This looks like the pattern of what happened in Imo State not so long ago, 2 weeks ago or so. They said some armed men on motorbikes killed 11 people and kidnapped at least 70 others, including women and children, in a village in the northwest Nigeria. Witnesses say they came on a bike and started shooting sporadically, and then they killed a set of people. They came shooting randomly before adopting their daughters and children. As of today, they haven't heard anything from anybody, and everywhere is quiet. As it is, they said they don't even know who they usually term them armed bandits. They don't know, they don't have any information as to where these people are, where they're taking them to, or demand so far.
Really
but it's
sad.
actually so
Real
sad.
sad. Yeah.
Very sad.
Okay, we hope that the government is able to rescue them as soon as possible. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we want our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.